Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Miller at the Belton First United Methodist Church. Thanks for joining us for these devotions. We do Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if I remember correctly, today is Thursday. Yes, today is Thursday. Got it. Okay. Now, we were talking about relationships and how powerful relationships can be. I came across a story about the New England pipe cleaning company that not pipes that people smoke, but the big sewer line kind of pipes, that one day a team was down there and having to clean out all this sewage, and what a mess it was. But amongst the mess, they found treasures. They found 61 rings, several pieces of real silver utensils, real silverware, and some other valuable items, which they were allowed to keep. And sometimes relationships are like that. They get messy. But if we can just keep digging through the mess, we find a real treasure. These devotions I'm calling Road Trip, and I'm using the acronym DRIVE that I have borrowed from a book called Momentum for Life by Mike Slaughter. And we're on the R part, relationship. And I just want to talk about what it might be to keep healthy relationships, because sometimes they do get messy, but there's nothing that can bring us more fulfillment, more happiness, more satisfaction than truly healthy relationships. And I want to use that relationship triangle, go back to that relationship triangle from Tuesday, where you have God at the top, and then as two people move closer to God, they move closer to each other. But I want to do a little twist on this triangle here. I remember Mike Slaughter said in the book, he said that all people are equally important, but all people should not get an equal share of your time. Now, at first, I had a negative reaction to that, but the more I thought about it, and as he explained it, I thought that is so wise and so profound. All people, everybody is equally important, but not everybody gets an equal share of your time for the fruitfulness of God's kingdom. There are people that you need to invest more time in than others. And I kind of do it with relationship triangle. And I was thinking about Jesus. And, he had the crowds, just those large crowds. That would be the bottom, the biggest group. And then he had disciples. They were more committed. They were committed to following. Then Jesus had, of course, a closer group of the apostles and others, like Martha and Mary. And then from the apostles, he even had a smaller group. And then, of course, his relationship with God, the really close group. And there's a story in the Gospel of Mark in chapter 14, starting at verse 32, where it says, Jesus and his disciples came to a place called Gethsemane. And Jesus said to them, sit here while I pray. And he took Peter, James, and John along with him. So he takes these three, and they are really his closest. He's investing time into them, Peter, James, and John. And Peter we hear about, and John we hear about. These are ones that we hear about, and their ministry that continues beyond that we really hear about, and it's the time that Jesus invested. And if you think about it, I think we should be exercising the same thing within our relationships. There's people that we're going to spend more time with and invest more of our energy and resources with. So, for example, whether it's God, but for me, my wife. She should be getting the best part of my energy and the most investment of my time. Then close family. Close family, that be children and probably my siblings. And then you get a little bit of the other family, maybe some nieces and nephews. But even before that, I'm going to put church family up here. So my wife, close family, and then church family, and then I kind of get to the extended family, nieces and nephews, because actually I do spend more time with church family than I do with some of my nieces and nephews. Extended family, and that goes beyond the cousins that are way down here somewhere. But I would challenge you to think about this scripture from Mark, that Jesus went away to pray, and he took those that were really close to him with him. And of course, Jesus invested time. All people were equally important to Jesus, but not everybody got an equal share of his time. But even sometimes he was interrupted. So we gotta know that, no, I'm supposed to be investing this time, but sometimes there's the interruptions. The woman that falls and grabs his cloak because she just wants to be healed, and there are those interruptions, and Jesus does let himself get interrupted at times. But I would challenge you to draw a triangle and do your relationship triangle. Where are you investing your time? Are you investing all your time down here rather than up here, and even with the church family? And within the church family, you probably have some closer circles, your accountability group, your small group, your Emmaus reunion group. How are you investing this time that God has given you? Are you investing it into healthy relationships? Because as we work through this mess, and sometimes relationships can get messy, if we will invest properly, we will find a true treasure. May God bless you all.